Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Canada. I am Elsa Abraham, and in this episode we are bringing you African news. Here is your headlines. New round of JED talks to start on Saturday. Ethiopia starts deforestation in preparation for second filling of the dam. And in our next story, Congressional Committee calls for sanctions against Ethiopia if Tigray crisis continue. And in our last story, will Egypt attack Ethiopia? Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back. From that short break now, Ethiopia is insistent on moving forward with the second filling of the dam's reservoir in July despite the lack of an accord with Egypt and Sudan. And as efforts are underway to revive negotiations between Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia to solve the long-running disputes caused by the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the JED, Addis Ababa is embarking on deforesting large spaces to unliterally start the second filling of its dam. Congolese officials said on Wednesday that the foreign ministers of Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia are to meet in Kinshasa on Saturday in an effort to relaunch a fresh round of talks on the 10-year-old dispute, according to the AFP. The officials added that the anticipated talks, set to last into Monday, will be attended by Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi, whose country took over the presidency of the AU last month, succeeding South Africa, which mediated in vain in the talks over the past years. Negotiations between Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan have kept hitting a deadlock over the past years, with both downstream countries laying blame on Ethiopia for the failure of past rounds of talk, including the last one mediated by the AU, which stalled in January. Ethiopia, on the flip side, is still adamant to go on with the second filling of the dam in July despite lack of accord with Egypt, Sudan, as Ethiopia news agency said. Addis Ababa is going about clearing forests to allocate new swaths to accommodate the second phase filling of the JED. The Ethiopian government is planning to clear area covering 4,854 hectares, which is 48.5 kilometers. Official at Ethiopia's Regional State Technical and Vocational Job Creation Agency, which is assigned with the task, told INA on Saturday. The deforestation process, which will take a month, would cost the Ethiopian government over 81 million Ethiopian birr, $2 million. Egypt has repeatedly expressed concerns that Ethiopia's swift filling of the JED jeopardizes its share of the Nile water. The country, which is dependent on the Nile water for 95% of its renewable water needs, fears that the $4.8 billion Ethiopian hydropower project will significantly diminish its crucial water supply, which is already below scarcity level. Also, Sudan fears that the JED will put the operation of its resource dam, which is located nearby the JED, and the lives of Sudanese citizens, approximately 2 million Sudanese people, at a very high risk if an agreement regulating its operating and the filling is not reached before the second filling. Egypt and Sudan have repeatedly pursued reaching a legally binding agreement on the rules for filling and operating the dam, but the steps have been repeatedly dodged or rejected by the upstream country. Egypt and Sudan have been pushing for international quartet mediation made up of the AU and the United Nations, the European Union, and the US to break the deadlock for Ethiopia's backs at such a step. The international mediation, first proposed by Khartoum, aims to introduce the UN to the talks and turn the four parties into mediators rather than mere observers. The proposal was endorsed by Cairo, but Addis Ababa said it prefers African solutions instead. The announcement of the Congolese-sponsored meeting comes a day after Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said no one can take a single drop of Egypt's water, adding that if it happens, there will be inconceivable instability in the region. A compromise to Egypt's water share is a red line, and our response if our water share is affected, will affect the stability of the whole region. LCC had told reporters on Tuesday to comment comments over the continued deadlock in negotiations with Ethiopia over the JERD. Moving on to our second story for today, Congressional Committee calls for sanctions against Ethiopia if Tigray crisis continues. Congress increased pressure on the Biden administration over the humanitarian situation in the Tigray region of Ethiopia this week, urging it to move more forcefully and impose sanctions on the involved parties, including Addis Ababa. A letter from Gregory Meeks, the Democratic chairman of the House of Foreign Affairs Committee, and Republican member Michael McCall, was sent on Tuesday to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen. The two called for sanctions to be imposed on those fueling the fighting in Tigray. Fighting since November between Ethiopia troops and the Tigray People's Liberation Front has killed more than 50,000 and displaced hundreds of thousands, Ethiopia's three opposition parties says. The UN estimated on Tuesday that 2.2 million people are in need of humanitarian assistance, while human rights organizations have reported atrocities including rape and extrajudicial killings. Last week, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed admitted to the presence of Ethiopian troops in Tigray fighting on the side of this government and committed to withdraw them from the region. This has yet to happen. Congress is also urging the Biden administration to do more. We condemn in the strongest possible terms reported atrocities and gross violations of human rights committed against civilians, including rape, torture, forced displacement and disappearances, acts of ethnic cleansing, extrajudicial killings, the looting and destruction of medical facilities, restricted access to aid, Mr. Meeks and Mr. McCoy wrote. We urge the administration to utilize all available tools, including global Magnitsky, authorities and other targeted sanctions to hold parties accountable for their actions and bring an end to this crisis. It also threatens problems for the future relations between the U.S. and Ethiopia if the situation did not improve. While we remain committed to the important bilateral relations between the United States and Ethiopia, this conflict jeopardizes shared political, economic, and security priorities, Mr. Meeks and Mr. McCoy wrote. In February, the Biden administration unlinked a suspension of $272 million in aid to Ethiopia for the Nile Dam crisis and tied it instead to current developments, including the Tigray conflict. Speaking to Congress in March, Mr. Blinken described the situation in Tigray as ethnic cleansing. On Tuesday, he made reference to sexual assault and continued killings in the region. The report we are releasing today shows that the trend lines on human rights continue to move in the wrong direction. Mr. Blinken said at the launch of the State Department's annual human rights report. We see it in the killings, sexual assault, and other atrocities credibly reported in Ethiopia's Tigray region. Cameroon Hudson, a senior fellow with the Atlantic Council's Africa Center, said that Washington was following a gradual approach in increasing pressure on the Ethiopia. Those seem to have a very little impact in changing Addis Ababa's approach to the conflict in Tigray. Next level of pressure is clearly going to be direct punitive measures. The letter is an indication of possible sanctions by the Department of State and Treasury. This likely will translate into sanctions unless Washington starts to see greater movement on the key issues it is asking for changes on, namely the withdrawal of Ethiopian and Amhara ethnic forces, the launch of the International Human Rights Investigation on hindered humanitarian access, and some sort of domestic political dialogue, Mr. Hudson said. He saw the possibility of the U.S. Treasury delaying or denying third-party aid to Ethiopia. The Treasury does two big things that affect U.S. policy on Ethiopia. He said it administers U.S. sanctions and it controls the U.S. vote as the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. The U.S. has leverage in denying or delaying Ethiopia multilateral financing and assistance, and not just bilateral assistance. And in our last story for today, will Egypt attack Ethiopia? Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has threatened Ethiopia as it insists on filling on the controversial Nile Dam. Egypt's share of the Nile water is untouchable. If that supply is affected by the Ethiopian Grand Renaissance Dam, there will be severe regional consequences. This is the warning from Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, whose country is in a years-long dispute with Ethiopia over the hydropower project. Ethiopia is building the 5 billion mega dam on the Blue Nile River. Talks to resolve the standoff has stalled. Ethiopia started to fill the dam's reservoir last year with no deal in place. So, does this mean el-Sisi will go for war? Has diplomacy run out? These are the questions we are also asking today. Now, with our $1 a day challenge, you can also donate to support our channel, Alena Media TV. All that we do are reporters around the world, in the Horn of Africa, the East of Africa, as well as we report and bring you all the credible stories from our sources. You can donate $1 a day just to help this Alena Media TV. And on our satellite channel as well, you can find us. We need 200 justice seekers to donate $1 a day, so that our channel will keep growing more and more, and we will also help in bringing you all the best stories you can get. Now, with our Canada, you can get Alena TV with the Bank of Nova Scotia Institute. Bank of Nova Scotia institution number 002, transit number also 70052, account number 0199815. Canada also we have another bank, CIBC Bank, Alena TV, institution number 010, transit number 00152, account number 1690814. USA we have account number ready, Nerayo TD Bank, account number 43438296279, routing number 0260136673. United States of America, another bank we have CIBC Bank, account name Ready Nerayo, account number 0179106568, and routing number 071006486. You can also donate using our PayPal link just below the video. It's in our description box. GoFundMe link is also there as well. Just follow and then you can donate as well. Kindly visit our website for all our news stories, www.alenamedia.org. You can also go to our donate session there and then fill in the form and donate to us as well. And we also have a shop. We are selling t-shirts, mug, watches, bracelets, anything that you want. You can just go there to our shop and you will get it from there. For any info or enquiries, you can also email us with your story so that we can broadcast for you at info@alenamedia.org. info@alenamedia.org. This is where we end today's episode. Thanks for watching.